Get in. The water's warm. Cheers, brother. How you doing? Good to see you. Now, I'd wager I was driving from Ohio yesterday. I went to a wedding. And I was driving back and I said to myself, I have a wager to make. That if you are unhappy as a dude that can literally, I mean, you got a nutsack, you could create life. You just, boom, take some life. Boom, there's some life. If you're really unhappy being alive in good health as a man, you probably live your life way too secure. It just makes sense. It just really, when you boil it down, you are not supposed to be here on earth to just exist. You're really designed, created in the fashion of a God, of the God, to handle an insane amount of just uncertainty, risk, failure, trials, tribulations. You're not meant to just be this guy that gets by, that just has his little health insurance, has his 401k, has a few investments, has a solid routine. I think that people, when they talk about retard maxing, they miss the point. They say, oh, Elijah's just saying don't think. This is just Zen Buddhism, Zen philosophy. And that's wrong, because it's not just not thinking. The way the world is set up, it's to keep you safe. It's designed to put yellow caution tape. Don't go past this line. Don't make stupid investments. Don't eat ice cream and do bicep curls. Don't go and talk to that hot girl you work with, because you could get fired. There's a bunch of limitations. There's a bunch of traffic cones that you're not supposed to go here, even though you could pass everyone up, and there's no even construction going on. These just traffic cones are in the middle of the lane, and you could easily just boom, go over and just pass everyone up. But you can't, because those traffic cones are there. You might get caught. You might get arrested. You might run into the damn ditch. Retard maxing is really about stepping over that caution tape. It's really about seeking out ways to move the energy, to move the water, because your life gets really stagnant. Your friend group that you hate, really stagnant. The woman you've just settled for, really stagnant. But it's all secure. The place you live, stagnant. Living with your parents, stagnant. It's really, really secure though. What really happens is when you decide to take action, not analyze, not ruminate, not be consumed by fear. Whenever you feel this fear sort of work its way up, retard max it. I often will say this to my wife. I say, retard max it, baby. Don't think about this shit. Retard max that shit. Retard max it. What else are you gonna do? Don't be afraid. Retard max it. Don't overthink. Don't try to get into the head of this person where to just retard max it. Be righteous and retard max it. It's very simple. You don't need to do all of this consideration. You really need to allow yourself, win or lose, pump or dump, it doesn't matter the consequence. As long as a man has spirit, if you are able to shake things up and to really be someone that is okay with risk, that takes the action, if you lose and you fail, that is a blessing. And that's what people miss, because they're still in this mindset of security. They're not used to taking risk. So they think, oh, just stop thinking. Wrong. Once you take that action, do you have the spirit? Are you capable to handle what comes next? And the answer for a lot of people is no, because they don't have spirit. They're not righteous. They're not strong. Their whole life is built upon a very feminine, motherly reassurance. They have the voice of their mother in their head guiding them. They don't have the high-spirited, the high-risk-taking mindset of the father. They don't have the faith. They have the anxiety. They don't have the will. They have the fear of a mother that doesn't know God, that doesn't know peace. And it's infecting a lot of the men, really. That's really what it is. And so, I truly believe that you gotta have a lot of failures, bad investments, mistakes, friendships that come and go, heartbreaks. You got to get disenchanted with a lot of the normal stuff. A lot of the standard status quo security things. You got to get real comfortable seeing them for what they are and realizing that at the end of the day, it's the end of the day and you're not dead. But at the end of the day, when it's the end of the day and you go to sleep, you're not just waking up to the same day again. You're actually waking up where something has shifted. Some new force must rise up inside of you because of this bad mistake, because of this loss of money, because of this move away from the house, because you quit the job. There's uncertainty. And so when you wake up in the morning, something is new. And there's some novelty that awaits you. And every single man is built for this novelty, for this pursuit of making things better, solving the problems that he's faced with. I call this the soon. Every man needs a soon. Every man needs something to look forward to. And it may not always be as fun as just getting yucky with the boys. It may not be as fun as that new GTA release. Sometimes you're soon. That gives you that, all right, I got to get up. Sometimes that soon, man, is not the drunken night. Sometimes that soon is the damn hangover. Sometimes that hangover wakes you to fuck up and you realize it's time to climb. It's time to tighten up. It's time to get back after it. All right? What the fuck? Sometimes that sickness reminds you of how good it is to be in good health. And it changes your ways. Not because of anything you did, just because you got sick. You were sick. Sometimes you're forced to action. Sometimes the soon is just climbing out of a bad spot. When you're down on your luck, when you don't have much money, but the bills are due and that landlord comes knocking, please, just give me some grace. I gotta get after. I gotta make some shit happen. I gotta turn shit into sugar. Sometimes that is the only thing a man needs to really not worry about his purpose, not worry about being happy, just to start moving again. Just to start understanding who he is. Because you never get the insight of understanding what you're capable about. what you're really capable of and confidence in yourself until you've been in these times where you haven't had the money to pay rent, when you haven't had a set of wheels. You got to. I used to have to carry my groceries 2 miles, just full farmers walks, carries. Just, I got so in tune with nature. I could tell. I could go outside, just stick my nose out. Oh, yep, not today. It's gonna rain. Sure enough, 20 minutes later, it would start downpouring. Yep, today's the day. I think I'll go get groceries. Just eating sardines out of the can. This big old 20-pound brick of beef. People knock the cigar and OJ combo. That's a mistake. A strong Maduro combined with the citrus, the acid kind of cuts through it. What's not to love? But again, the idiot constantly thinks, that makes no sense. Don't let it make sense. Fuck sense. You ain't even making any sense doing what you're doing. Doing the same exact thing. You're not going to get to learn about yourself, man. You're not going to fully trust yourself and develop the spirit if you're moving scared. Remember, everyone likes doing fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little voice in your head. There's so many guys that are LARPing. They're LARPing like they have all of this confidence. They're LARPing as these guys that got it all figured out. I get it. Sometimes it's all you can do. A lot of times you'll see this guys will make women their whole persona. Women their whole persona. You'll quickly learn when you're confronted with the competition in life. I think the gooner, it's easier to turn to goon when you don't have a soon. When you're not wrestling with like paying rent. When you're not wrestling with the choices you've made. When you're really trying to just carve out a path in life, you don't really have the time to goon. But goon for a lot of people puts them in a cocoon. And it's warm and it's cozy. Right? You get to constantly focus on women and heartbreaks and this. It's all like an illusion. I'm telling you, dude, really, the more that you can like cross that tape, see the crime scene, when you can see the murder, when you're not just like this, kind of just tiptoeing by, everyone in the car just driving by trying to get, when you actually go and investigate, see what this life is all about, make some real moves, get uncomfortable, that's going to teach you what you're really about. Yesterday I was in Ohio. I told you I visited the bar I worked at 10 years ago, man, when I got my first bartending job. I was near the area. I would just remember feeling so damn just down, just down on my luck. That for me was the most bleak time in my life. But that bleak time, I was staring at this bar, just a shithole. Just a little shithole in Cuyahoga Falls in Ohio. And I'm looking at this bar and I thought this was the most bleak time in my life. I had nobody at all, just alone. Working the night shift job, working the bartending job. And I was looking at it, I was like, but it was also the launch pad. It was also exactly what I needed. And during those times, I look back and I'm extremely grateful for that guy stepping up to the plate. Just making moves. Unqualified. Still making moves. Still stirring the pot. Showing up. Even though it was tough, holy shit. That time was exactly what I needed. That was exactly what I needed. And if you look at all the times in your life that you've really hit big, you've won big, you've come back, really, like you just rode the freaking tiger, you chewed glass. You look at the times where you won, you got back some. I guarantee you, all of these times are pretty much from a place of misery, or not misery, but a place of uncertainty, failure, where you were doubting yourself, but some action you took forced the next day to be different. I'm telling you, it's always like this. If you really just look back at your life, all of the success starts from like a point of ballsiness, scooping your nuts, just retarded gumption, just riding the shore bus, uncertainty, but having the capacity to move anyway and to just, all right, this is where I'm at. Life took a doo-doo on my head. What am I gonna do? Let's make some shit happen. Think about it. And yet we have this weird idea that the more safety we surround ourselves in, the more comfort, the more heated floors and pillows in our beds, everything set up in routine to automate itself, the reliance on AI, that the more we're going to be able to continue this existence. But in reality, it's the opposite. It was always when we followed our intuition. We didn't look to some AI. Some of the best meals you ever cook were when you just from scratch, something just popped in your head. You saw an idea. Maybe you spent time. You know, some people think that they got to get off social media. Some people need to be on social media more. Like, I'm telling you, sometimes you get an idea on online and you just test it for yourself. You need to have tests. You need to like run experiments. I'm big on that, dude. You know, you see a lot of these people these days, they pride themselves on I don't use social media, I don't use anything. Well, all right, well, hopefully you're pretty creative in your life. Because I know a lot of girls like this too. There's girls that I don't use any social media. I don't use any form of social media at all. Okay, well, why are you still so lonely? Why are you still so fat? Why are you not running any experiments? Your life's the exact same. You're stuck in a cocoon. But a lot of these times they still have other things where they'll watch the shows. They'll binge watch TV shows, or maybe they're, you know, in love with some, I don't know, just reading these fantasy books. But they're not online. But I'm telling you, online, dude, I mean, you're gonna have. There's a certain point where it makes you autistic, where you're trying to do everything. But no, I'm just saying you get ideas. Let me test this. Let me try that. Let me experiment with this. People also would say, dude, what about the homeless people? What about the crackheads you see? They were retardmaxing. Didn't they do exactly what you're saying? No, they didn't. Because I can guarantee you, I've hung around more homeless people than most of you. My dad used to hire hobos. These hobos, and these were like top tier hobos, honestly. They bought me Christmas presents. I don't know how they did it. I think they stole something from my dad's truck. They gave it to me, or he gave it to them, said, give this to my kid. But, you know, these homeless people lack the spirit. And usually what I've noticed is these hard drugs, they become the spirit. They take away the spirit. You know, it says in the Bible, you know, don't be drunk. Don't let that spirit take over you. Right? Be drunk on the Holy Spirit. Don't be drunk on this wine, on these spirits, because it takes over you. And a lot of people do. They have their spirits drained. They take the action and then they wake up in a ditch the next morning. They wake up with the hangover, but instead of fighting out, having the spirit, the will, which was always there inside of you, but slowly gets taken out. That's what's missing. Because with that will, dude, with that will, you can do anything. That can be done with energy. But a lot of these guys you see, their spirits are gone. There's no thumos. There's no fire in the belly. There's a lack of energy. There's a lethargy. All they have is for the high. So the high becomes that routine, that goon state, which is just another form of routine, another form of safety. So that's all it is. I'm telling you, man, when you're down on your luck, when you're failing, God shows up. And he's like, yep, this is my son right here. I'm going to help him out. I'm going to give him exactly what he needs. When you really realize that you don't get to plan everything. You don't get to dictate everything, dude. You just don't get to. You don't have that luxury. When you really understand that God is having you exactly where you need to be now, and you just start taking action from that place, that's when you start winning. That's when things start moving. Because I truly think that if man is left to just like, a man will just try to tend, he'll try to just kind of tame, keep everything okay. It's too strong. It's too strong to think about taking risk, about really failing. So if a man is not comfortable with like, all right, I'm exactly where I need to be, let's move, and he's just busy, just trying to keep safe, oh, something in him dies. So that's it, man. You got to cross over that tape. You got to Retardmaxx to win at life. Don't overthink. Don't always be skeptical. Don't always ruminate. Don't be afraid. Don't overanalyze. Retardmaxx it. Ride the tiger, baby. You got anxiety? Say to yourself, ride the tiger. Thank God for this anxiety. Ride the tiger. You're going through the shit. You're just, shit is tough. Chew glass, baby. Breathe smoke. It's going to get better. F all the rules. F all the safety. The worst that can happen is you die. That's not even that bad. But we're here and we're living. So ride the tiger, baby. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.